It's time for today's Lucky Land horoscope with Victoria Cash.
Life's gotten mundane, so shake up the daily routine and be adventurous with a trip to Lucky Land. You know what they say, your chance to win starts with a spin. So go to LuckyLandSlots.com to play over 100 social casino-style games for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. Get lucky today at LuckyLandSlots.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
I need new music.
This is the JJO Discover New Music Podcast.
Madison Solid Rock 94.1 JJO and JJO Discover New Music. Our guest this week is Eric Boatright of Shallowside, talking to us about the new release, Reflections.
I'm ready to go.
Beautiful. You sound ready. You sound chipper, and I like that. Well, hey, let's get to it because I think it's very exciting. Everyone knows. Well, not only are we going to see you at Taste of Madison, we also have new music that has been released. And let's kick it off with this, Eric. Tell us about that timeline and maybe the origins of this and that kind of working process to get us where we are today.
It kind of goes back to where the last album was released. Went into the studio with Elvis Basquet, turned around and released that, and then the world government decided that that was the worst idea for us to do, so they shut down the entire world and called it COVID. And for the next 3 years in an album cycle, we were forced to sit on our hands and not allowed to do very much at all. So that was the starting of where this album, the second album from Shallowside, Reflections, starts from. Is being, kind of cooped up, kind of being forced to stand around and look at ourselves, and also be the most unsure of who we are as people. Me specifically, in my life,
right?
Because we've gotten to this place in music and travel that I felt like it didn't matter what was going to happen. Like, this was my carnival, and I'm totally fine with it. These people that I meet every single night on the road, this is my family. These are my people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then as that was stripped away from me, I was forced to look at myself. And man, I'll tell you what, growing up a redheaded stepchild, that is not the thing you want to look at all the time. So that's where the progression of this album started to take place. And then in 2022, we did release the first single off the album called Worst Kind.
Do you think it would be a completely different album if you immediately were able to release it?
I'm not sure, honestly. I don't think so. I think mostly what created and what was in the pocket was more of a self-challenging world that I was sitting in, particularly. Yeah. And that kind of headspace of where I was when we were creating that album, or creating this album that we're out with now, is for me in a therapy sense. At one point, I heard that music was the cheapest form of therapy. In my side of the fence, I don't particularly believe that so much, but it is very, very therapeutical. So like that's I believe this album was created more so to help me in my headspace to evolve as a human or a man.
Yeah. I do think that's interesting. Do you think you were maybe a little bit more critical on this one? You were able to really delve into it more than you would have if you just were kind of running and gunning after Saints and Sinners?
Yeah, we're a band that kind of stays in the going motion. Even when we were forced, to go back home and not do anything and play shows and such, we were still going to spaces that was allowing and making those things work. So I think that in hindsight, that could have potentially been a thing. It could have been a bit more rushed had we were been forced to get back to work immediately.
Right. And also too, having a fella like Elias Soriano of Nonpoint, who will also be at Taste of Madison on that track. How do you guys get hooked up with him and decide to get that track together?
I just have to point this out too. Like Non-Point is like their second home is right there in Madison.
Oh,
so,
yeah, yep.
To have to one of the king bearers, jump on one of our tracks in y'all's city, man. It was a blessing. We actually ran into him, and I'll give you this full wild circle story that happened in the world of rock and roll.
Please do.
It just so happened to happen in the Northwoods Rock Festival. So 2 years ago, Non-Point's playing. We had just finished this writing session in Nashville on our way up through Wisconsin, and we wrote this song and had this song, but there was this middle piece to the song that just, I didn't feel like it needed my voice. I'm seeing Elias perform, and I'm watching Non-Point absolutely destroy this place, and I'm like, you know what would be incredible? That right there. Not long after that, maybe a month goes by, I hit up Elias on Instagram, and I'm like, yo, listen, I got this track. Watch y'all show. Big fan of you guys. If it would be cool, I would love for you to jump on this and see what happens. And if you don't like it, dude, just don't even reply. You don't have to acknowledge me. It's no big deal, and I get it. Boom. He sends this thing back within an hour or two. Yeah, I haven't seen professionalism like this in my life. Just turns around, knocks it straight out of the park, then births this awesome rock song called Filters. So fast forward, what is it now, 2 years later? Right. And Elias comes on stage and performs Filters with us for the first time. And if that is not the gods of rock and roll looking down with a smile from their golden teeth, I don't know what is. And we're blessed to have it, just like we're blessed to have you guys over at JJO make it happen so everyone else can hear it.
It's easy on us when it's as awesome as it is. It's really not hard for us to get behind this, and again, it just we're so pumped for you guys and how well that's doing in the rock world. And follow up question to that amazing story. I mean, we could end on that because that's just beautiful. I do love collabs and seeing two bands, meld their sound together, bringing that new element in. How did bringing Elias in challenge you guys? Because I know you brought it to him, but then he comes back with it, and you're like, okay, is the song good enough? Do we need to change it up now? How did that challenge you guys to get the sound that you wanted on that track, that final piece of Filters?
Having him fire back a verse that was so awesome absolutely made me turn around and look at all of the creation that I've ever put pen to paper and be like, am I trying hard enough? Am I really good enough? Because this guy he's a king. He's a king in our world of rock and metal music. So seeing that was an awesome learning lesson. Yeah. And he's an awesome dude too. He took us under his wing a bit, and, gave us a little bit of the game and how he runs his business and keeps his his mindset throughout the day. So, man, I think it was more than just challenging to adding him to our writing. Mm-hmm. It was more like a personal challenge was initiated within ourselves to be a better version of and grow and become a step in the right direction. And that was inspired by the likes of Elias. Yeah,
well, I love that elevation, and I mean, obviously, just as you guys continue on this journey, I think it's awesome, and what we're seeing with the album as a whole, with Reflections as a whole, and this next step for the band, it's very exciting. So I'm excited for you guys, like I mentioned, and great. And I hope we get a little taste. I don't want to give anything away because I don't know because you guys are on separate nights. I believe you're on Sunday and they're on Saturday, but I don't know. I don't want to give anything away. I don't want to get anybody's hopes up, but we're excited for Taste of Madison to have both you guys there.
Yeah, I think the city wouldn't allow us to be on the same night. They were fearful of the Capitol.
Look, we're going to grease the light poles, and we're just going to hope for the best. All right, that's all we can do. Do you have? And I always word this as favorite track, but on this album, on Reflections from Shallow Side, is there maybe a track that really speaks to you, that really kind of hits you every time?
Yeah, for me, one of the last tracks off the album, there's a song called "No One Wins." That was kind of my eulogy, if you will, to life and liberty. I had recently lost my father. Sat down in the studio and kind of pressed on in a situation where I probably should have maybe closed up, or maybe that's all I was thinking about doing was closing in and walking away. But "No One Wins" was a song where I was able to kind of sit down and write it and look at it, look at me, look at the growth and the development of myself, and also kill a lot of the self-righteousness or this bold-headed mentality.
Yeah.
And try to see the world from more of a distant view than just out of the perspective of my eyes. Yeah. And at the end of the day, no one wins. There's no victor. Even the wins that happen in wars and games, they all get buried the same. Yeah. So it's when it's over for everyone. And that's where that song came from, and it holds a very special place. And I'm hoping we can get that thing together to perform it live pretty soon as well.
Yeah. Well, I know that's not easy, the loss of a parent, and I think as fans, everyone's grateful for the, kind of opening yourself, being that open book, being vulnerable, and sharing that, and we're excited to hear more, man.
Listen, rate, share, subscribe. Discover new music now at WJJO.com, in the JJO app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Rock has a new interview every Thursday evening between 6 and 7. 94.1 JJO.
With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply.
I need new music.
This is the JJO Discover New Music Podcast.
Well, and again, Reflections is out now. What do you hope is the big takeaway for the band and maybe even for the listener out there for Reflections? What do you want to take away from this as an artist and your fans when they hear it?
We're more than just a band that's traveling through town. Yeah. That's what the takeaway is. We're contenders here. Yep. This is not our. Although off of this album, this is our third single, and it's on the charts today, number 29, which is a blessing, and we appreciate it so much. But this is not our first rodeo. You know what I mean? Yeah. This is not our first time at it. We're heavy contenders, and typically the one of the first bands on the bill. But if you're there early, you're blessed with a rock show that's most times, and in my experience, is not going to be provided by the headliner. So if you take anything from this album right here, I want the people to look around and take into consideration that there is strength and talent, and rock and roll is out there, alive, doing well, and prospering. I hope that's what they take away, and I hope that other kids that are listening to this album, they think that they can't do that. Like, by God, you can. Yeah. Just get up and work for it. It's going to happen.
Signed, sealed, delivered. I couldn't have said it better myself. From Eric of Shallow Side, you got it. All right, now, last question. You guys formed in Cullman, Alabama. Now that we have the important stuff out of the way, all the important stuff, Reflections, kicking ass, Shallow Side doing it. You guys formed in Cullman, Alabama. Channing Tatum is also from Cullman, Alabama. When will we see a Shallow Side Channing Tatum collab? Is that in the works? We've been in talks with each other. We did a little bit of work together. We were working on this choreographed kind of routine together that we were doing. Very nice. And then he went off and made some type of stripper movie with all my dance moves. So, dude, after that, I'm just hoping that he does good in his career field, and maybe his six pack could look a little better, like
like mine is,
That son of a bitch, he ripped you off. I knew it. Oh, my God.
Like that part was basically mine. He just kind of stole it. They needed someone brown-headed, not red.
Right. They thought it was more mass appealing, I guess. But boy, I knew it. Awesome. Well, hey, thank you for humoring me. More importantly, thank you for talking new music reflections. Eric from Shallow Side. Now, before you go, let's do rapid fire, and we'll learn just a little bit more about you. There's no wrong answers here. You just go with your gut, okay? Your chiseled gut. Your chiseled Channing Tatum gut is what it is. First one, mashed potatoes or baked potato?
Oh, mashed potatoes.
Disco or techno?
Disco.
Soaked jeans or damp socks?
I don't know what either one of those things are going to do. What, soaked cheese? You said soaked cheese?
No, so sorry. Sorry. That was my northern accent coming out. Soaked jeans, like denim, or damp socks? Man, I'm gonna have to revert back to my youthful learnings and go with Lieutenant Dan here. Always keep your socks clean and dry. So I'll go with the wet jeans. I like it. And not soaked cheese. No one should pick that. That's awful.
Yeah,
and
immediately,
disgusting.
I was like, I don't know what's so bad about wet socks anymore, Lieutenant Dan. They over here yelling about some wet cheese.
Wet cheese is always the worst answer. Oh, my God. Would you rather see Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster? You're an Alabama boy, so, you might have Bigfoot in your area. So, maybe that's an easy answer for you.
We call her Aunt Cheryl where we're from. She got a beard and all.
You don't see Bigfoot. You said Aunt Cheryl or Aunt Cheryl. Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's Aunt Cheryl. Yeah, we see her walking around. She's down there at the Dollar General about twice a day.
Picking up scratchers and menthol 100s, is that what it is?
Exactly. Big old long nails and looking like Mimi eyebrows from the Drew Carey Show. Wow.
I love it. So, I'm sorry, would you rather see the Loch Ness Monster then? Is that what you were alluding to?
Oh, no, I'll have to go back to Cheryl with the Bigfoot.
Would you rather take one punch from Mike Tyson or 100 punches from the Where's the Beef lady?
I couldn't take a punch from Mike Tyson. That'd be the end of me. I'll go for the Where's the Beef.
In her prime, she might be able to get a few good ones on. You might be a little bruised for a day. I think so.
I might like it. I don't know. I might enjoy it. I might have to run home and tell Cheryl about it.
I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, Shallow Side Reflections out now. And don't forget, you will see them at Taste of Madison. Eric, you're a gentleman and a scholar, and I appreciate the time, my friend. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us, brother.
Listen, rate, share, subscribe. Discover new music now at WJJO.com, in the JJO app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Brock has a new interview every Thursday evening between 6 and 7. 94.1 JJO.
Dile adiós al verano y dale la bienvenida a los doorbusters de Labor Day en JCPenney. Como camisetas para niños a $5.99 y jeans a $14.99 de Thereabouts, la marca favorita para el regreso a clases. Además, actualiza tus ollas con un juego de 3 piezas por tan solo $17.99. O usa tu cupón y ahorra 30% extra por toda la tienda. JCPenney, vale la pena. Ofertas válidas del 30 de agosto al 2 de septiembre en selección de estilos. Aplican exclusiones. Los doorbusters excluyendo los cupones. Detalles en la tienda jcp.com.